This is the 21st season of Bass Talk Live. BTL is presented by Bass Cat Boats, Strike King Lures, AFTCO, Pro Guide Batteries, Spro, Gamakatsu, The Bass Tank, Denali Rods, Beatdown Outdoors, and Sunline.
BTL coming at you.
Good morning and welcome to another exciting edition of BTL Bass Talk Live, where we are going to talk about bass fishing. Back from every year I try to do one here's the deal. We'll just get into it right off the bat. I had never done a non-fishing vacation in my life, and then obviously I started dating Courtney, and now we're engaged. So I was like, hey, she has to put up with the fishing stuff 24/7, 365. So I was like, we need to go to a location for several days a year that is not bass fishing related or fishing related. So we did Scotland last year. It was one of the few places you can go and not catch bass. And then I got my buddy Owen up in Alaska. She'd never been to Alaska. I think it was my 5th time going there. Wasn't supposed to be a fishing vacation. We're up there for 6 days. We ended up fishing every single day. It was absolutely fantastic. One of the cool things was there was a little run of kings that opened up, and I caught a wild king salmon on a 10-foot steelhead rod. It's just running me 100 yards upriver, 100 yards downriver. Had to release it because it was a wild one, and then he caught one you could keep. Did a fly in, caught some salmon, looked at some bears. It was really cool. But I came back. I said Keith Poche did Keith Poche things on the James River, won the MLF Invitational on the James River. Some hot, physically hot bass fishing going on the Potomac with the Bass Pro Tour going on this week. And then a bunch of stuff dropped that you guys need to watch. Primarily Adam Bartuzek, who I pair up with to fish every year for the St. Jude Bass Classic out of Wabasha, Minnesota, actually had a full production crew. And did a feature-length film called The Jude, which dropped on his Crappie Chronicles channel. This is one of the coolest productions that I've ever seen. He put a lot of time into it. This tournament raised $1.1 million for St. Jude, over $8 million in the 26 years that it's been in existence. I put a link in the YouTube show for it. I'm going to see if I can let's stop this screen here. I'm going to just run just a 2-minute segment of this video. It's an hour and 45 minutes long. If you're listening to this podcast or driving, it's usually been an hour and a half. This is well worth your time just to get a feel for the fishing community, what this is all about, and what's really important. So here's just a quick little snippet of it.
Yeah, off a 3.5 or something, and then I marked 2 or 3 others. I'm just trying to figure out if they're big or little ones. I caught one off of it. It was a 14-inch.
That's kind of what got me addicted to it, to be honest, is the greater good of what's going on with this event. And then once Matt got involved and him and I started fishing together, we started raising more and more money, and we got the opportunity to go to the St. Jude's hospital in Memphis.
And to see, the key word there is a research hospital, and to see you walk into all these buildings and, there's patients and families and kids that are there that are receiving life-saving treatment. But you walk into this one room, and it's all glass windows. It's 5 or 6 stories tall, and it's all of the doctors and scientists actually doing research. I'm not a dad. I don't really have had any connection to the childhood cancer like that, but it just hits home. Especially as you get older, you realize, man, this is this is your life. This is your kid's life.
Just seeing where all that money goes and all the help you're giving, and how no child ever pays a bill. Their parents don't have to pay a bill for going and getting medical care that could save their life or give them a little bit longer with their family. And all the research they do goes towards other children's hospitals, benefits research all around. And it's truly just an amazing organization. They do incredible things. And that's why I'm going to be fishing this event and just trying to do more and more to raise more money and help out.
The generosity of the community, the Bass Talk Live listeners and viewers who have stepped up. There's individuals who have donated thousands of dollars, not asked, not prompted, just because they can. A lot of people ask about this tournament, have gotten involved. I know that there's several boats that are fishing this year because they heard about it through Bass Talk Live. They wanted to get involved in it. I met a team last year that drove up, I believe it was from Kansas.
Anyway, hour 45, it kind of goes through the entire tournament on that. The link for that is in the YouTube description. Well worth your time. Also, I probably have it displayed in the back. The gold medals from El Chichillo. I'll eventually stop talking about that when I'm dead. Andrew Upshaw, Let's Fish TV, actually did 2 episodes of Let's Fish TV, one from day 1, one from day 2. You can see me lose my freaking mind after I catch a 10-4 with an hour left to have big bass of the tournament. Someone commented like, hey, I got to own that celebration. It happened. It's how I responded when I caught a big fish. So it is what it is. So speaking of big fish, we're going to keep the theme here. I've been wanting to have Josh Daniels on from Pro Bass Adventures for a while now. He said, hey, there's a lot of stuff going down in Mexico. Let's give it a little bit of time. And then he's like, all right. And then he's like, no, not yet. I've got this tournament. So they run 2 lodges, one out of El Salto and one out of Bacharach. He said, I've got this Kings of Bacharach tournament going on, and I think it would be better if I waited until after this. I was like, okay, dude, like you could come on before and promote it. Now I understand why. And if you look at the title of it, the best big bass lake in the world. Now I've never been to Bacharach, but this was just silly. And there's Josh. Are you at Bacharach right now using their using the Wi-Fi?
I am. I'm here at the lodge using the Starlink, and I'm located in front of our leaderboard from the tournament. We kept it up, and I wanted to show you the results and chat about Mexico bass fishing. What's new? It's nice to be on again, Matt.
Yeah, thanks for coming back on. Greatly appreciate it. As you guys know, we run the commercials, we run the ad. BTL partnered with Pro Bass Adventures this past year, hopefully for many more years to come, selfishly, just for the ability to go down and catch the fish of a lifetime. But we'll get right into the title, the best big bass lake in the world. And I know that is auspicious or you got to have something to back it up. And what's behind you? It's a strong claim. Explain what the King of Bacharach was, how it worked, and what went down. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago on Lake Bacharach? It was pretty silly.
2 weeks ago. Yeah. And, to qualify the claim best big bass lake in the world, I think it's up in the top discussion. I've been to Ivy. I've been to JB Thomas in Texas, and we've caught a lot of great bass there over the years. But you really need sonar, and you need to have some technique and skill. Bacharach's a lake where you can come beat banks, fish off short points. You don't need the technology, and you could still have a good chance at trophy bass and in excess of 100 fish per boat per day. So the King of Bacharach, we wanted to do a tournament of some sort down here, and we chose June for a reason. Every trip in June, I've broken 10 pounds, sometimes multiple times over. And it's not the most popular time to fish the lake, but what happens, these are drawdown reservoirs, and we get all of our rain in a monsoon. That's usually July, September, maybe early October, and the lake fills up. And then there's hydroelectric power generation, there's irrigation for crops, and that's our rainy season. So the water drops all the way to January, and you get to June, and the lake is, it goes from 30,000 acres to maybe 10 now. So the fish seem to stack up, get really concentrated, chasing bait. I don't know that the fish are at their heaviest weight of the season, but the population density of trophy class fish and their overall lack of discretion with what they're willing to do. It doesn't seem to get better than this time of year. So we organized a tournament, and we wanted to do something unique. So we did a 3 biggest fish format. It was a long tournament, 6 days fishing, 7 nights, Sunday to Sunday, June 8th through 15th. 2-man teams with a guide. Guides aren't allowed to fish. And we did each angler has to contribute one of the 3 biggest fish for the week. We had daily big fish prizes and first, second, third place team at the end of the week. So these anglers, they were very skilled. Some of them are regulars, some of them first time at Bacharach, but had been to El Salto. But I think all of them had fished in Mexico before, if not with us, with a competitor. But it was a great spirit. Everybody was pretty fired up. It's the first tournament ever on the lake like this. There were some rules and restrictions in Mexico. You can't live well fish, so you can't well them and bring them in for a weigh-in. So we did the kind of MLF style
Catch, weigh, release with the
video
Bubbas.
it on the boat. That was one thing. So one thing we do is every boat's got a Bubba Pro Series scale. Every guide has one. They're all branded and marked with a number. So we had everyone weigh their fish and videotape it. And at dinner each night, I reviewed the videos and made sure clean weigh and all that good stuff, and updated the leaderboard. So it was, everybody paid an entry fee, each angler of $1,600 on top of the standard lodging. And then we did a daily big fish payout, $2,600 and some hardware. And then the first place team won $14K. Second place.
Yeah, I saw 14. I thought that was a typo. That was $14K to win that.
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
And, $2K for third. So they kind of won their money back in a sense. So it was top heavy, 3 biggest fish format. We wanted to emphasize big fish. We're all about trophies. We did track the 5 fish bags for some of the teams, just to have some cool statistics and metrics to check out after the tournament.
When it was all said and done, then over the 6 days, the three biggest bass that won this thing. This is 3 fish, folks.
Yeah,
it was like 38 something, wasn't it?
So the first place team weighed 38 pounds 7 ounces
on 3.
On 3, yeah. So
oh wow, that shows up really good right there.
Yeah, it lights up. So 38.7, 13, 12, 12.8, and a 12.3 for first. And then their 5 fish bag was 60 pounds 11 ounces on that one. Second place team, 13.8, 12.10, 12.2, 38.4 for 3. They actually had a bigger 5 fish bag of 61 pounds 5 ounces. That was team Justin C. and Jim Cordiano. I have a cool story about Jim that we'll chat later. And then third place was 34.2. We actually had a 2-way tie with 34.2, but Big Fish was the tiebreaker. And that team got 12 pounds 5 ounces, 11.2, and a 10.11 is what they showed up there.
What I was more impressed about, you sent me a picture. I've only got it for the 4 days. I think you have it for all of the days there. Go on, read on the bottom. So you had what, roughly 30 guys on the water? How many teams did you have?
We had 13 teams, 2-man, so 26 in the tournament.
You had 26 guys on the water. Read on the bottom, like some of those DDs and 9s, 10s, 11s, and 12s. This is only 26 people that are on the water that are fishing for that day.
Track by day here.
That's one of the coolest boards I've ever seen.
So, yeah, day 1, Big Fish was 11.6. That angler also caught a 10, Jim Cordiano. There was an 11.1. It was a good first day. We ended up with 6 DDs that first day.
That's a 10-pounder for those that are in like Kansas.
Double digits.
That DD stands for double
3
digits.
10s, 3 11s, 6 9s. Day 2, Big Fish was 12.5. And we ended up with 8 double digits, 10 9-pounders, 4 10-pounders, 2 11-pounders, and 2 12s on day 2. Day 3, 12.10 was the Big Fish. That team also got a 10-pounder. Another team, the team that finished fourth in the three-way tie, Preston and Chris, they caught 4 DDs that day, 11-10, 10-7, 10-3, and a 10 flat. So that was pretty impressive. 9 double digits day 3, 6 10s, 2 11s, 1 12. And then day 4, 12-3 was the big fish. We had 10 double digits, 2 9s, 6 10s, 3 11s, and 1 12. And one thing is, there's more 9s than this, but they quit culling. So we quit tracking them. But that's how many.
Basically, there's basically a double digit per boat on that day.
Yeah, that's
with
kind of how it averaged
digits
out.
in a day.
Yeah, 10 double digits. Now, day 5 was pretty slow. I mean, the big fish was only 10-13, man.
Yeah.
6 DDs, all of them were 10s. And then day 6 was just phenomenal. It was ridiculous. 13-12 was the biggest, last day of the tournament. And that was caught by the team that was in second place. So they were trailing by 2 pounds going into the final day. And they needed to make up 2 pounds in a 3-fish bag. It looked out of reach. So they landed 13-12 and run into the first place team just after that. And they celebrate, hey, dude, we just caught a teener. Check this out. Look at this picture. They all get fired up. And the 2 guides start talking. And one guide realizes he's no longer in first place, starts the motor and just rips off mid-conversation. Like, we got to go catch a bigger one. 20 minutes later, the other team catches a 13-8 and leapfrogs them back into first place after being 13-12. So lunch comes in. It's tight. And then that afternoon, my buddy Mason Smook with what was the second place team caught a 12-8 to go along with his fishing partner, Justin Laughlin's 13-12 on that final day. And it jumped them into first place by 3 ounces. And they were trailing by 2 pounds going into the final day. So it was a cool comeback. Last day, 5 double digits, 2 13s, 1 12, 1 11, and 1 10. So total for all 6 days, 44 double digits in the tournament, 26 10-pounders, 11 11s, 5 12s, and 2 13s. And here's the thing. I was sneaking out fishing at night with Sarah, my fiance, who's my partner in business. She's awesome. And we caught another 6 10-pounders during the week. And then we had a couple clients here who weren't part of the tournament, and they caught 4. So for the week, 54 double digits caught for the lodge. Pretty good numbers.
That's freak show stuff, dude.
Yeah.
This is an event that you've been working on. It just went down here when I was down at El Salto in December. You were already like highly excited about this.
It was, yeah. It took a lot of planning to get the right format. We wanted to put a solid group of guys together. I needed to review everything with the guides, and it took a lot of planning and organization. But now that we have the template and the excitement, and I think it really showcases the potential of this lake. Now, to be transparent, this isn't every week at Lake Bacharach. We timed it with moon phases. It seemed to be perfect. This week in June was stellar, but it shows the potential of Bacharach and why people get a trip like this and they're hooked. They keep coming back for life. And my first trip to Bacharach was something similar to this. And I've been hooked ever since.
If you guys have any questions between the difference between El Salto and Bacharach, less than a year ago, I had Josh on, and he really kind of dove into that kind of in depth. One's a little bit more mountainous, clear, big fish potential. El Salto, more consistent. You're not going to go to El Salto and catch 12 and 13 pounders. You will, but I mean, in 30 seconds, I kind of just encapsulated the difference between the two.
I agree. Yeah. Bacharach's higher elevation, and we go over that in depth in our previous podcast. So if you guys haven't seen that one, check that one out. It's kind of the prequel to this.
It is. So is this is an annual deal? Is this something that you're going to bring to El Salto? Like, why has this not been done before, or has it been done and I just haven't heard about it? Are you like kind of shaking things up? Like, why has this not been done? Because that is wild stuff, Josh.
It is. I don't know why no one else has done it. I've been in the industry 4 years now as an owner, 3.5. And why the others didn't do it before. I think it's the strict no live well transportating fish policy, and you need to invest in quality scales, and it takes some energy and organization. So yes, it will be an annual one, As expected, my inbox has been a little busy with people saying, I went in on the next one. So what I did is I gave these 13 teams a month to decide if they're back in or not, and then I have a waiting list. And the ones that don't return will fill in the order received with the inquiries. So it will be an annual event. I'm happy to say that. Here's a teaser. We're building a couple more rooms, a little expansion. So there might be a few more teams. There might be a bigger payout next season. And yes, I do plan on doing something similar at El Salto. One thing was a lot of people said 6 days is a long time, especially in June. It's hot. So we're doing a 4-night, 3-day here at Bacharach, October 12th through the 16th. I do have some spots open for that. It's the official season opener, Bacharach's Best tournament, 4-night, 3-day here at Bacharach. And then El Salto will start with the King of El Salto tournament Saturday, the first week of June. We'll do something similar there. 12 teams. So if you're interested, reach out to me, probasadventures@gmail.com.
Yeah, I was noticing like you don't see guys that are dressed like that very often that are fishing in like New York.
Yeah. So that's Justin C., who tremendous angler from Arizona. He's caught over 60 double digits over the year in Arizona. He caught 5 on this trip, and that was a 12-10 right there, that balloon. And that was big fish one day, and I think that's a new PB for him. He's caught a lot of 12s, 11s, but I think that's his biggest one, so really proud of him. Good angler.
So Bacharach, business as usual this year. It seems like I'm looking at the social media accounts, looking at that, like it seems like you've got guys in and out of Bacharach every single week.
We do. We've grown a lot here. When we purchased the company and acquired ProBass, we were the second biggest outfitter on the lake, and we've grown to the largest by a significant margin. So I'm pretty proud of that. It all starts with the guides and the staff. I mean, we have an awesome staff here. They make you feel like you're king, and you feel at home and welcomed. And I think the investment of putting great technology on all the boats. We built a great big tackle shop. Of course, rods are always free with us, and we work with Loomis. We work with Dobbins, IMX Pros, GLXs.
I was looking at that. Is that all them in the background of all the different rods?
We got a bunch of Ecstasies in too, so we really bumped it up. Yes, that's our tackle shop. How about this? When we have a moment, I'll do a quick walkthrough of the tackle shop in the rod room, and then you know what to expect for El Salto, because we built it here at Bacharach first, a store. I wanted to kind of get a template, work the kinks out, and then once we have it dialed, we'll clone that and take it to El Salto. So I'll be at El Salto this summer in August to build. We don't have a tackle shop there, but we have a huge one here to build that and add something more to what we offer to our clients there.
You mentioned El Salto. I do want to ask you about El Salto. I probably should ask you about this off air beforehand, but I know we went there in December, had a great trip. And then a couple months later, shortly after that, El Salto kind of closed to, guys coming down and having the trip of the lifetime. What's the deal with El Salto? I would say there's three or four kind of main lodges on El Salto currently. 3 main lodges on El Salto, and
there were a couple more smaller ones off the water, but they closed last season. They went out of business.
But as of now, I mean, El Salto is not getting any bass fishing pressure, or it has not gotten any bass fishing pressure for the last couple of months. I know that is a political, it's an interesting deal down there, but I mean, dude, you do own a lodge on El Salto. So what's the deal with El Salto? When is this going to get back to business as usual? And, you look at any of the message forums, any of the chat boards, people are saying, hey, what's with El Salto? We're going to be able to go back down there. Is this the end of El Salto? What's the word on Lake El Salto, Josh?
Yeah, so we have a date. September 25th will be our first groups, and we're green light to open next season. This season, we were for the most part, out of a couple weeks, best of my knowledge, we've been the only lodge open on the lake. There's been some political strife in Mexico, and as people probably know, there was some unrest with, a changing of the guard. The sons of Chapo Guzman, the Mexican government has declared what I would call a war on. They're trying to get all of them out of the state, and they've done a good job, I guess, chasing them down, arresting them, and getting them out of the picture. So there's been some violence between the government and that faction, and they've been pushing them back and getting them cornered. So at one point, this disruption was uncomfortably close to Lake El Salto. So as they've been clearing areas and pushing that group out further south, they've sent a clear message to the locals that anybody involved, brother, sister, uncle, cousin, even if you're not directly, if you're a family member, we want you all out of here. So a lot of people left the area. I'm not sure exactly why the other outfitters didn't open at all season. Please ask them directly. I don't want to speculate. But the lake, we've been open all season. The lake itself did close April.
Okay.
The government called us and said, hey, there's a lot of problems now south at another lake called Picachos. And there's a lot of fighting. We need to allocate our patrols and resources further south. Even though everything's calm here at El Salto now, if you call, we ain't coming. We're busy. We have things to do there. So at that point, we elected to close for the season at El Salto. And we went through the calendar and called everybody and just gave them the option. Would you like to go to Bacharach? We'll shuttle you up there. It's fishing pretty darn good. Or do you want to reschedule? Or hey, you want a refund? We'll do that. So most everybody went to Bacharach. Some people did really well, 12 pounders, some big ones. Some people elected to reschedule. And a handful of people said, I just want to fish El Salto. I'm not interested in Bacharach. I'll wait till next season or something like that. So they gave us the thumbs up just a bit ago. But we had already called the calendar, moved everybody, and said, it doesn't make sense to reopen for 3 weeks, calling all my employees who have now gone and got part-time work in other places, and stock the kitchens and all that it takes to run a lodge for just a couple weeks or a month till we're going to close for the monsoons anyway. So September is the reopener. We got the thumbs up. I've been there last month in May, and I'm headed there in a few weeks to work on the shop. So all's calm, quiet. So I anticipate things will go back to usual there, and we'll be ready for next season. And those fish have seen no pressure, no boat.
But I mean, Americans have been flying into Mazatlan and been going down to El Salto for 30 plus years. The way I look at it is your outfitter, whether you go with any of them that are on the lake, is part of the expense that you're paying for is point A to point B and then point B to point A. And I said that in the last podcast. That's what kept me from going down there before, was I was nervous about the A to B part, the B to A part, not about the actual lake part. But with, whoever it is, it picks you up. They're literally like in the airport at Mazatlan when you land. It's not like you walk out and have to find the Pro Bass Adventure guys. Like, it's a dude in like a blue and green, black Pro Bass Adventure jersey that's like, welcome to Mexico. And then you walk out and it's the van with Pro Bass Adventures on the side. They put all your stuff in. They strap all your tackle down, and you're at the lodge. Like, there's no, roaming around Mazatlan trying to figure out what to do. Like, I looked at it, I almost thought of it like kind of like a kindergarten field trip. Like, hey, we're going to make sure these kids like stay in line. We're going to make sure everyone's accounted for. Everyone's holding the rope, and we got you. You're safe. You're getting down to the lake, and then you could act a fool for 5 or 6 days, catch all the fish you want, drink all the 7-ounce Pacificos that you want, and the margaritas and the tacos and the food and the pig and burgers, and then boom, we'll just repeat the process, and all of a sudden you're back in Mazatlan and you're going, damn, I can't believe I have to wait another year.
Yeah, I was fortunate in that I bought a well-oiled machine. They've been running for a long time, and I think we've done some unique things to reinvest and make it unique and help us stand out from the rest of the outfitters in Mexico. But the program of being ready, the service, shuttles ready as soon as you come out of the airport, just smooth, has been refined for a long time. And like anywhere, if anything goes down in major cities around the world, the USA, night, don't be outside at night. Don't be intoxicated.
But you don't leave the lodge. Like I've been there multiple times now, and you stay at the lodge. Like I mean, you're hanging out
remote.
drinking.
Yeah, it's super remote, and there's not much going on near us.
Trust me.
Have
I
fun.
saw some interesting stuff when I drove to El Chichillo on 3 wheels, 200 miles in. That was interesting. And I'll also say this, then we'll move on to some other things. There's a reason why these lakes are some of the best lakes in the world, and it's because they get low pressure and they're hard to get to. It's the same reason why I was able to take a float plane across the inlet to Wolverine Creek and catch a limit of salmon in 30 minutes, because you can't just hop in the Prius and go do it. Like that's part of the element, is the difficulty in accessing the resource.
It's huge. Yeah, it's a major reason. And there's a limited number of outfitter permits. Those numbers won't change. There's a limited number of boats allowed on the water, and they're pretty big lakes. Backrack full pool's 30,000 acres. Salto, I think like 22, 23.
I just saw a bunch of water coming in on the post. Is that going to change things up this year? Like that seemed like a pretty big deal.
Yeah, we celebrate the rain here because we get it so infrequently, only during that rainy season. So it's been raining hard in the mountains upstream of the river section of Backrack. So the water's raised maybe a meter in the last 3 days. So
I believe that's 3 feet.
Yeah, we welcome the rain. It's a little early. I think
the
this
metric
was
system down there, Josh.
A standard mod. They spent a lot of time down here. I think in kilometers and meters now, kilograms. But the rain is always welcomed. I think this was a hurricane that blew over and gave us some rain. The official monsoons usually start late July, and it's torrential, Matt. Like it's biblical rain. So that's kind of why we choose that time to close for a while, give the employees a vacation. They've been working their butts off, and do all the service we need, lower units, spark plugs, repainting, repairs to the boats, rooms need touched up, anything like that. We're hard at work behind the scenes getting ready for next season.
Yeah. And if you want to see what any of the rooms look like, any of that stuff, also did some live BTLs from El Salto last December. We do a walkthrough of the entire lodge, the rooms, the what do you call it, dining hall, tackle room, like the main kind of meeting deal too. So if you guys have any questions on that, we're going to take a break. When we come back, I want to talk about what we have coming up on Lake El Salto with BTL, and then also some tackle questions if you're good for another segment. Like I said, I know you're down there. Are you on Elon stuff? Are you on Starlink down there?
Yes, we are. Yeah,
okay,
we
so
are.
The same stuff that was at El Salto that I was able to do all my work done. So if you have to contact family, if you have to do any of that, anytime you come in, boom, Wi-Fi, you're good to go.
Yep. Routers all over the property in a mesh network. So as you walk around, it transfers you seamlessly to the nearest router with the strongest signal. Pretty darn reliable. It's good stuff.
Right, sweet. It's BTL on a Wednesday. It is June 25th. Actually back in studio, like my next major thing. I think I've made the call that I'm not going to ICAST this year. It'll be the second year in a row that I'm not going to ICAST. And then I think my next major thing is like the third week or second week of August on Leech Lake. So we're looking at a lot of consecutive BTL, some contested material coming. But when we come back, we'll talk more about El Salto, how you guys can have an opportunity to get down here, get some of this fantastic fishing at Pro Bass Adventures with Josh and the crew. So BTL on a Wednesday. We'll be back right after this.
The new Puma STS has been redesigned from the ground up. With the angler, design, function, and performance in mind, nothing on this new offering was compromised, and the only thing carried over from the previous version is the name. Based on the Soft Touch series hull that started with the flagship Jaguar, this new model is nimble and performs incredibly well at all speeds with either a 250 or 300 horsepower engine. Featuring a new 96-inch wide-body footprint, this hull measures out at 20 foot 7 inches in length. Industry-leading design coupled with tournament-winning performance. The Puma STS from Basscat. Feel the rush.
This is Gamakatsu's new Nano Alpha line of hooks. If it looks familiar, that's because they are. It's the same shapes and sizes in the round bend and the EWG and in the new Horizon head that you know and love from Gamakatsu, but there are a couple new features with this Nano Alpha, which is this little green label that you see on the packaging. First off, 2 times faster hook penetration. That's because of the Nano Alpha smooth coating on it, and also it is 4 times more corrosion resistant. Check it out, Nano Alpha.
I've been using Sunline Shooter for the majority of my career. Millions of dollars made, lots of bass caught, and the gnarly, gnarly stuff. If you need a abrasion resistant, tough fishing line for the really, really mean stuff, Sunline Shooter is for you.
Beatdown is efficient.
Rock solid. 100% American made.
This thing is super tough. I mean, this thing is not going anywhere.
I've ran the Beatdown double stack from Florida all the way up to New York. And the one thing that I know is when I get to my fishing destination, I never have to worry about issues with my graph mount.
Your options are endless with these mounts, but they're steady, they're solid. These are the most reliable mounts on the market, and you can't go wrong with the Beatdown.
When you're ready to hit the water, Denali Fishing has you covered. Regardless of your skill level, from beginner all the way up to tournament pro, Denali has rods, reels, and tungsten to get the job done. Check them out at denalifishing.com.
All right, welcome back. BTL talking with Josh James from Pro Bass Adventures. We've talked about this. I've mentioned it before. We're doing a BTL trip to El Salto in December. Let's pull it up. There's the details right there. This was, I would say, we kind of did a little bit of a test run last year with it with my buddy Darren. I was telling you that story before. Like, I mean, he's kind of forced to be a fan of BTL because he was the guy that when I was 13 with the Assumption Bass Club, and I was just like, that was before I think I was like, people were like, this kid has ADHD. Like, I was bouncing around the boat ramp, and he was, for some reason, he must just have self-loathing. He was like, yeah, he can fish with me. And that kind of, started a derby.
He's got a lot of patience.
Yeah, he's got a lot of patience. So he had come down for like 5 or 6 years, actually, with the previous owners. And I remember him saying, oh, I hope nothing changes. Like, I really like going down to El Salto and stuff. And then he's like, dude, it's like, it's even better. Like, you got to come. He talked me into it. So he came down with a group of guys, my buddy Juice from Juice's Jigs.
Juice, man.
Which is now, he's like worldwide now. Like, look, he's got, Juice has hats.
Yeah. Juice
has jigs. He's got all sorts of stuff now. I think Juice and his buddy came down, a couple other guys from the old club, but we're putting a group together. I think we have what'd you say, about 8 to 10 open spots left for that trip, December 9th through 15th.
Correct.
But this is one of those things that, like, you kind of have to pull the trigger on. How does that work? Like, what do they have to do to get on the BTL Lake El Salto trip, December 9th through 15th, 2025?
Yeah, reach out to me. Give me a call, 425-345-8891. Email probassadventures@gmail.com. Once you confirm and you're in, we do like a $600 deposit, and then the full balance is 60 days prior to arrival. Yep, pretty easy.
Yeah, so full lot. I want to do like what it totally costs to get in on this, because this is an exceptionally reasonable trip, but it's not cheap. Yeah. Depending on where you are, you got your flight to Mazatlan, and from my experiences in the past, there's like 1 or 2 flights that you come in on. Everyone will be there. You'll like see guys at whatever airport you're at, and you're like, hey, you going to El Salto? Yeah, you going to El Salto? Yeah, and then they meet you out there. So whatever you can get on your flight, whether you wait till the last minute and pay $2,000 or whether you book it a week after you book the trip and get it for $300, that's kind of up to you, right?
Yeah, the flights are actually pretty affordable. It's a short flight. It is international, but it's not very far south into Mexico. So there's a daily on American Airlines via DFW in Phoenix. Those arrive within usually an hour and a half of each other. There's an Alaska from LAX in San Francisco. There is I think it's Sun Country and Delta have one from Minneapolis, St. Paul, and United has one from Houston. So there are a lot of direct flights to reach Mazatlan from the United States. I think the bulk of the people in the group will be taking the DFW flight down. But if you live somewhere else in the country, just coordinate with us. And we always ask that you review flights with us before booking. And we'll have the shuttle.
You need a passport. You need to make sure you have an update. You need to make sure you have an updated passport.
Passport book is a prerequisite for certain. And El Salto's just about an hour and a half shuttle ride from Mazatlan Airport. And the flight from DFW is maybe 2.5 hours. It's not a very long flight. So it's pretty easy travel. Price is $2,445. Yep, per person. That's for 5 full days of fishing. Includes the airport pickup and drop off. Lodging, double occupancy rooms and boats, so you'll share with another guy. Really nice rooms. All your loaner fishing rods. So if you want to bring yours, please do. But if you want to save a couple bucks and not have the airlines beat up your rods and bring a rod tube, you can use ours.
After having been down there, Josh, I don't think there's any need for anyone to bring a rod unless it's like a fly rod or some.
Right.
But from what you've got. What, Dobbins and Loomis down there? From what I saw on that list, it's not like you're going to be using a rod that's missing 3 eyes and is a 7-foot pistol grip, and you're on the trip of a lifetime. Like, these are badass rods. Like, I was highly impressed with them. Like, they're rods that you're like, dang, I wish I had these on my boat. Like, I had some Denali's that were flown down there that I shipped to you in Arizona that you drove down a couple years ago. There's you have that back room where there's different guys that have been down there every year and they've got their little rods, but the rod racks that you have there, they're good rods. They're better. They're top of the line rods. You're using $200-$300 rods out there.
For sure. IMX Pros, GLXs, Dobbins Champion, Dobbins Ecstasy. That's one thing we try to do. If we're going to do it, let's just do it all out. Let's be the best we can.
So real quick before you get through, I want to throw this back up. Oops. So that 2445. So that basically roughly breaks down to $500 a day fishing.
Yep.
But that includes
your meals too.
Meals, lodging, all of that, and bottomless margaritas and those little 7-ounce Pacificos and Mexican Cokes.
Yep. Yeah, it does.
So that's where I'm saying it's not cheap. That's a freaking deal though. For $500 to catch the biggest fish to go out, and then I think we did. So here's where you get it extra. It's $50 to $60 a day to each guy that's in the boat to tip your guide. So that's an extra $250, and then all the ladies that are in the kitchen that are doing the drinks, that are making all that, you kind of tip them at the end of the week with an envelope. You got some drivers, so you're talking an extra $300-$400 loose cash just to make sure you're taking care of your guides, the kitchen workers, the drivers.
15-20% of the tip cost is pretty standard, but $400 is good. I do tell people, bring a little extra cash, because if you want to shop at the tackle shop, it's cash only. And you might want to stock up on something. Who knows? Maybe you need another.
You don't have to get pesos or anything. Everyone takes American money down there.
A good example of that, Matt, is this this real prey swim bait right here. This 6-inch guy in tilapia. This caught a teener, a 12.8, a 12.5, a 12.2 last week at Backrack, and it's
what is that?
It's a real prey swim bait. That's the name of the company. Joe Rainville makes it. He lives in Boston. Really nice guy, but it's silicone, so they're super durable.
Wait, that comes out of Boston?
Yeah.
Massachusetts?
He's the first silicone swim bait guy. He made it. He's a good friend of mine. But not everybody had these. But after all these giants started getting caught, we have them in the shop. People bought them and caught some more giants on them. And they're cool because when they eventually tear, I keep a tube of silicone in the shop. You can just repair the tiny tears with Mend-It won't work. Super glue you don't want, but just a little bit of this stuff, and it'll repair the baits, and they last for dozens of fish. One guy caught, I think, 4 double digits on the same one with a 13, 12 kicker. So this is a great bait. This was probably one of the baits of the tournament. One more thing I need to mention and shout out was,
is that it? Am I showing the right thing right
this
here?
Is it. Yeah, that's him. And he makes realistic stuff. He does it all himself. They're made of silicone. That Prowler perch, I have straight torn them up at Mille Lacs. We'll scroll up just a little more, all the way to the top on the left. That little guy, yeah, Mille Lacs. I've caught some 6s and some 5s. Great smallmouth on that guy. So quick story. Jim Cordiano, who was fishing this tournament, he finished second, but he had big fish day one. He caught a 13-8, 12-2, 11-11, 11-6, 10 flat, 10-1. He smashed it. The airline lost this guy's bag, which doesn't happen often, but when it does, we coordinate with them. We send a driver, we pick it up and get it. Well, they lost it and couldn't find it. So all he had, he's got his own brand. It's called Drave crankbaits. And this guy's not just a bass fisherman. He's like a trophy angler. He goes and fishes snakeheads and all over the world. And all he had was his box of his own crankbaits. That's literally all he had. So we gave him like a loaner. We rent tackle here, a loaner thing. And he went out and fished nothing but his own crankbaits and caught all his DDs, his teener on his Drave, DRAVE USA crankbaits and smashed them. So I told him when they lost his bag, I said, I bet you the fish gods are going to favor you. And my God, did he put on a clinic without any of his stuff. It was pretty cool to see. So we're stocking these now here at Backrack, and we will at El Salto. They come in some really cool wild colors, but he makes some good baits. Drave USA, check them out.
If you want to scope at either Backrack or El Salto, you can. If you don't want to look at a single electronic and just listen to your guide, you can do that, and you're going to catch them either way.
Yeah, that's the neat thing, and I think what's made Mexico bass fishing so popular over the years is high catch counts with high potential trophy class fish in the absence of the latest and greatest technology. If you want to scope, you can. If you want to scan and look for one specific giant, that works. We have the technology at both of our lodges to do that. But if you just want to old school fish, burn, bank, point, hop, go fish offshore humps, that works too. I mean, you look at your tackle box sometimes, like, what do I want to catch them on versus when I'm back home in Arizona? It's a puzzle that needs to be solved. What do they want to eat right now? So I think that's what makes these lakes unique, is that high potential trophy class fish, lots of high numbers. And then when you come in at lunch and people are talking about the big ones they're caught on all different kinds of things. Sometimes it does tailor to more swim bait, bite, or top water's fantastic, but these fish don't have a lot of discretion. And one thing you'll notice when you fish sonar here is that there's so much bait in these lakes. I mean, it
blew my mind how many like schools of shad there were on El Salto that were just like an Oklahoma or a Texas lake. Like, I had never in my wildest dreams imagined that there'd be big giant bass that were on balls of bait like that out in the creek channel and stuff. Like, I was like, it was interesting to me that, I mean, I thought it was just a straight tilapia diet. But a lot of these big fish are eating 4 and 5 inch shad.
Yeah, and they're pelagic, which I think before sonar, a lot of us viewed fish behavior and trophy fish behavior as relating directly to structure in a close proximity or cover. But I mean, you showed a 10 I caught yesterday, just a second ago. I caught that fish over 80 foot of water, 120 yards from the nearest bank, way offshore. She was just a roaming pelagic offshore fish. And I'm starting to realize that some of these fish, I don't think they go to the bank outside of spawning or actively pinning and trapping bait. So the potential down here is huge because there's a whole class of fish. You know, we're catching these double digits offshore. They're perfect. They're pristine versus some of the bank fish. Once in a while, you could see a fish has been caught before. There's a whole class of fish here in these lakes that have not been targeted that we're tapping into. And I think that's what's helped set us apart. As far as trophy fish production, we've got 222 double-digit bass caught between the two lodges since January 1st, which is phenomenal, astronomical number. And then with the tournament the week before till now, here at Backrack alone, right at 90 double digits in like three weeks, which is just absurd production of trophy class fish. So the technology has helped, but some of these people are just fishing blind and old school point hopping. It's nice to have more options. And our whole motto, everybody here says it. We have a meeting every morning. Put them in the best position for success. So well-fed, comfortable, whatever you need, we're on it. You have any requests, let us know, and we jump on it. So it was about setting us apart and putting clients in the best position to be successful and reach their fishing goals, whatever they might be, wherever your PB is, whatever your goal is. If you want to improve on a technique and you need some repetition, no better place to do it. You know, for me, I hadn't fished a fluke a lot, so I really refine that technique down here. And top water, you get some great action in the repetition. You know, back home, you get a bite. I should have played it this way. I should have played it that way. I lost a fish. It goes through your mind. You don't have a number of opportunity immediately. Here, you get that repetition in short time intervals, and you're able to refine your technique and micro adjust and improve. I mean, what would take months somewhere else.
No, that's big. Like, you know, obviously I've committed to the minnow over the last couple of years, which just caused a lot of people to take cheap shots at me, but I don't give a damn because it catches big fish. And I went down to El Salto, and it was the only time that you can literally catch 6 to 9 pounders and go, all right, let's see how much heat I can put on an 8-pounder with 8-pound test and, you know, a 3/0 horizon head and 10-pound braid. Like, what can I add? Like, how can you actually, because in the, I'm going to say in the real world, you get like a couple of those opportunities a year and you don't really like it. You kind of black out and you're just hoping to get it in. But when you know you're going to get 15 to 20 opportunities a day, or you're on the 5 and 6 pounders, you're going to say, okay, what can I do with 10-pound tests at this 3/0 hook? Like, how hard can I move them? Can I stop a fish that's running? And like, yeah, you'll straighten out a hook or you might break one off, but it doesn't ruin your entire trip. It's not anything like that. So I can't tell just from that trip in December how beneficial that has been to me in my fishing since then, because, you know, you'll have a big one on and it'll be going towards a tree. And I'm like, well, I just stopped 40 down in Mex. Like, I know with this 12-pound test that I can put an abnormal amount of heat on these fish, or I can have my drag tighter. I can turn their heads around. Whereas before, those suckers would have gone zzz, snag, broken off.
Yeah.
And you can do that with a glide bait if you want to get confidence in that too. Like, that's key. Like, if you can do that with a big top water, you can do that with all sorts of different baits, like you just mentioned, which is pretty cool.
It is. It gets the repetition. It builds the muscle memory. It lets you know the limitations of your gear and maybe things you can tweak or adjust in real time to have the best position for success, the highest percentage chances of landing fish, how to execute, how to turn them. Things you would never do at home.
Yeah.
Flipping 9-pounders, flipping 10-pounders. Like,
yeah, didn't you boat flip a 9.5 or something?
My biggest I've swung is 10.5.
You boat
it was an
10.5.
accident. Yeah, it was one of those hooks where sometimes you don't want to turn a fish. You got her going in one direction, and you're like, I don't know, something about this feels funny, and I just kept her going, swung her in. I thought she was an 8. She grew in the air. Yeah, that's the biggest I've swung. I'm not super into it anymore. You know, it's not the best thing for the fish, but sometimes when you're in the heat of the moment,
well, I mean, I probably need to work on my boat flipping. I've had some pretty bad net jobs as of recent. Maybe the worst netter of all time.
Hand with the rod out here, just lift her out. There's some risk with that too.
Yeah. There it is one more time. If you can't make it, or that December 9th through 15th, or you want to go down to Bacharach or anything, probassadventures@gmail.com. The phone number is 425-345-8891. If you're going to be a part of that BTL trip, like I said, I think there's a handful of spots open. That is a time-sensitive deal. So we're talking by the end of this week to get your deposit in, to know that you're going down roughly, you know, on that call. We'll do everything we can to get you in.
It'll fill
dude,
up. So if you're interested, reach out now.
Go down to Mexico and catch him. Like I said, I put the BTL name behind this, and it's because it is that badass of a trip. It really is.
It is.
I appreciate it, Josh.
That's
I've
what
enjoyed
it
the
is.
heck out of it. Congratulations on a successful King of Bacharach. Looks like that's going to kind of expand. You're expanding the lodge. Both lodges. You're gonna have tackle room at El Salto. All that information. Your website's still up there?
Yeah, probassadventures.com.
Yeah, probassadventures.com. But the email is probassadventures@gmail.com. Phone number 425-345-8891. Anything else before I let you go?
You know what? Yes. Really quick, we're going to take a look at this tackle shop.
Oh, yeah, totally. A walkthrough. Yeah, let's do it.
I'm walking with my laptop, so
okay.
I'll try to keep my angle right and the lighting proper. But inside this glassed-in Commodore here.
Oh, that's all glassed in. I was going to say, if that was outside, I was like, how are you not sweating?
It preserves the view of the lake, but it's glassed in and air conditioned, so it's a beautiful addition we just finished up. And then we can walk into the tackle shop here. It's okay, guys. Stay where you're at. I got some employees in here having lunch. They're laughing. So one thing we do is if you catch a fish you're proud of or a double digit, we have a printer, photo paper, frames, put it up on the wall right away. Sign it, date it, print one to take home with you. It's a pretty cool cultural thing that we added here. So as I come into the shop, we got a number of glass cases full of swag. And then if you can see all of these rods, this is the Loomis section. And then we go over here. These are all Dobbins. There's a couple St. Croix in here.
Oh God, that's like 300 rods, Josh.
Hundreds. And glass cases all over. And I'm sorry I'm not being the best cameraman with my
you're doing good.
And we got Missile, Sunline, Nichols, Dirty Jig, 6 Cents, Owner. We've got Strike King, only mega bass dealer down here. Z-Man, great. They treat us well. Yamamoto, Magnum, Burrito Baits, Bullshad Swim Baits, the Real Praise we discussed, and some Berkeley stuff too. So it's hard to take it all in, but it's a pretty sweet shop. So work's cut out. I'm going to be busy this summer to build something comparable at Lake El Salto. Well, it took us a few years to ramp up to this here at Bacharach, but El Salto's next. So it gives you a little idea of something, what to expect. Oh, Hog Farmer too. Great guy, Scott, over at Hog Farmer. So we try to stock the most popular lures. So it's hard to condense to 50 pounds in a bag. And this just lets you take a deep breath and say, hey, if I run out of Alabama rigs, jig heads, Kitex, they've got more. So
yeah, you're good to go. All right, dude. I greatly appreciate it. You going fishing again today?
You know I am.
God.
You know I am.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
Yeah, I'm gonna go find another double digit.
I gotta get out to Bacharach at some point.
I gotta get out there. Yeah, I would love to have you here. You're welcome at both. And you, like you said earlier, I think El Salto, I want to say easier, but it's more consistent, more shallow, more flats, a lot of trees. Bacharach steep, cliff walls, so it's a little more precise, but you can have success at each lake. There's an abundance of trophy class fish at both. The outliers, 11, 12, 13s, there's a few more at Bacharach. But if you're into throwing Clyde baits or topwater, I think El Salto's the lake.
And isn't El Salto like starting this year and next year? Isn't there like a bunch of fish that have gone from that 7 to 8 to the 9 to 10 range? Like I've seen it in just the years I've been down there. Like those year class of fishes are getting insane to where that first year I was catching a lot of 3 and 4s, and then the second year 4s and 5s, and this past year was all 5s and 6s with more 8s and 9s. Like that's just going to keep getting better for the foreseeable future.
More double digits this season for us than in the last 5 combined, which is wild. 12s showing up, multiple 12s, quite a few 11s, a bunch of 10s, and a lot of mid and high 9s. So it seems like there's a trophy class of fish. I think fish get super spawns. And when there's a super spawn, the next 2 spawns maybe won't be as prolific or numerous. And then as that super spawn reaches a certain 4 or 5 pound class, then maybe there's another one. And then that tier hits trophy class, and eventually they pass away, and it takes a little while for them to come up. So we're here now with a great class of trophy class fish, which feels like an abundance of them. I mean, people catching 10 pounders on top water. That's special.
I feel like I've had two that potentially could have been 10s at El Salto eat it on top water. And the first one was the first year I was down there, and I hadn't beefed up my stuff, and it lasted about 10 seconds, and I came back and it was just literally mangled.
Yeah.
Like split rings almost pulled out, hook straightened. And then last year I had one eat it, but it was like kind of cat a corner to a tree, and it ate it, and I was like, double extra heavy split rings. I had the Gamakatsu like 4X saltwater hooks on, 50-pound braid, and I still couldn't stop the damn thing, and it went straight into a tree.
Might have been more than just 10, Matt. But
It was big. Because I know OL was like anytime OL like pulls his buff down and goes, oh, that's how you know it's a big one. He only did it like 3 times the whole week.
It takes a lot to get them excited. They won't even grab the net unless it's 9 pounds.
Yeah.
But one more teaser. Brian Bolander, great guy, owns Lobina Lures now, the Rio Rico. Good friend. They fish with us every year. We're working on a little project for some new Mexico Baccarat El Salto poppers. The Rio Rico is my favorite top liner.
That's the weirdest thing. I've never figured out why. That's the weirdest colors, thing.
Maybe a little more robust Mexico fit hooks and rings. So that's something to keep an eye out for. Cool project.
These giant fish, and you throw that little Rio Rico up there, and they just come unglued on it. Like you would think. And I mean, they eat the bigger stuff, but like, you know, Pete Robbins is down there all the time. And when I was going the first time, he's like, oh, make sure you've got, you know, the little Rio Rico pop. And I'm like, the little popper that like we do a mayfly hatch and like a little bitty shad spawn in Oklahoma. He's like, yeah, same exact one. He's like, they eat it. They eat it crazy good. I don't know why, but they eat it way better than any other topwater I've thrown down there.
Hey, man, elephants eat peanuts, and that's a good example of, you know, they just can't resist it. It works.
Yeah, but that color, it's like that yellowish kind of color that they use. But yeah, no, that's cool that there might be some special stuff.
Yeah, we're designing a couple new colors and new hardware, but, you know, bone is standard. That's always worked well, but sometimes I think it's the sound, the chugging, and color is not super important, but something.
They gotta think it's one of those little, like, what are those, like cichlids, like those little colorful fish that like you catch on kind of the grass edge and in the rock sometime. They have to think it's one of those that's like eating a bug off the surface or something.
It is. So there's El Salto's a little different than Baccarat in that they have a cichlid in there. It's called a bean eye cichlid. It's cousin of the Mayan cichlid down in Florida, but they're all over the shadows. I don't know if you guys can see this. That is a Maya Heroes bean eye cichlid. So the locals call it a tilapia. It's not. This is actually the IGFA world record that we caught out of Lake El Salto. So that's it right there of Maya Heroes. Cool. So I think that's why the trophy class fish frequent the shallows more at El Salto all throughout the year, because those cichlids are not offshore. They hug the structure. They're always in 8 foot or more shallow. They're tied up in there. So there's an abundance of bait and food for the bass shallow. Versus Baccarat, we don't have those here. Once in a while, one shows up, but there's no abundance. And the tilapia, the African tilapia, are more offshore roaming fish. So I think the trophy class fish, bass, their behavior correlates to food, obviously. And I think that's one thing that makes El Salto so good for shallow fishing and just chucking at the bank, are those long flats and the abundance of these guys everywhere in the shallows. They just always have food up there. And I think that's one thing that makes El Salto so popular and that I love about it is, like, you could just put your foot on the trolling motor and burn, and you're going to catch good ones. It's a great lake.
There you go. You got a sail.
There you go. Thank you. Enjoy it. Send some pictures to Joe Rainville or send it to the Rio Prey Swim Baits page. Get a little tube of aquarium silicone. This is cheap. Amazon, $7 or something. And when it eventually tears, just dab a little of this on it, and it'll bring
aquarium silicone.
Yeah, it's cheap. It's a silicone swim bait. So, you know,
I love it when I learn something.
Really durable. It's awesome.
Will that work on like Elastec and all that too?
No, sir.
Oh,
no,
just that.
No, just on these silicone guys. And the neat thing about silicone is the durability. So you can taper to this tiny section and have a way oversized tail for action at a slow speed. Versus if you try that and blast us all one bite and that joker's gone. So Joe Rainville, Real Prairie Swim Baits. Hit them up.
All right, go catch a double digit, Josh.
I will. I'll send you a picture this afternoon, buddy. Thanks for having me on again.
Thanks. I'll be out weed eating.
Hey, congratulations on the dub at Cochillo.
Thank you.
Double digit.
Thank you. I wouldn't have happened if I hadn't been to El Salto. I'm not kidding. I caught him the same exact way.
Dialed in that giant minnow.
It just wasn't. I mean, that's a
jig,
good lake.
How about this? When we're at El Salto, I'll give you a lesson on my technique. And
I'm all in on that.
Oh, those fish are dead. We got it.
All right. See you, dude.
All right. Peace, guys. Thank you.
Thanks. All right. You thought we were done today. We are not done. We got Ricky from Omnia waiting in the wings. Some cool new stuff at Omnia. A bunch of stuff going on from that. Big shout out to Josh, by the way. It's not easy for him to make the time. Well, also, if you're on back rack, to sit there and talk for an hour has to be rough. But, it's kind of his job right now. So, we're going to take a final break. When we come back, we're going to bring in Ricky Harris. He's been on a number of different times from Omnia. He's going to walk through some of the cool new stuff that Omnia has available coming down for the summer. I was just at Omnia, did an Omnia report live from there. One of the cool things that I saw there was that lightning tracker that they had, real-time lightning tracker on the Omnia Pro. You can literally pull up the location lake where you're at and then see, like, as that lightning comes across the lake. Plus, still some really just financially smart opportunities. I see Ricky. Are they still doing the $50 thing, Ricky? Is that a just shake your head, yes or no? Because I'm not bringing. Oh, sweet. Yeah, no, some really good opportunities from Omnia that we can talk about on the way back. It's BTL on a Wednesday, and we'll be back right after this.
Hey guys, Brian Schmidt here with Spro. I'm going to talk to you about the confidence I have in the equipment I use. I have a charter boat business back home in Maryland. We fish for saltwater fish, and I also fish the Bassmasters Elite Series. So I keep my lights on by fishing. I have to have a lot of confidence in the equipment I use. Spro has me covered from head to toe, saltwater, freshwater, everything in between. A lot of high-end quality product. Spro has you covered.
Everything you need, one legendary brand. Taiwan Strike King. Gear that just plain works. Cast after cast after cast. AFTCO. Any fish, any water.
Welcome back, BTL on a Wednesday. Like I said a couple weeks ago, I was going through Minnesota up there for Bart's Bachelor Party. Stopped by Omnia on the way back. Checked out their headquarters. It's actually June 19th. It's from Mexico to Minnesota, Fishing Adventures with Bass Talk Live's Matt Pangrak. You can go check that out. But let's bring in Ricky, who I still love the old school silver thread ad in the background of his studio. So thanks for jumping on BTL, Ricky.
Absolutely, Matt. Thanks for having me on.
Have you ever gone down to Mexico and dabbled in that life-changing experience?
It's something that I've read about, it seems like, since I was a young kid. There's always been such lore about Mexico, from El Salto to Bacharach to
there's a sugar.
Yeah. And sitting there listening to Josh is really making me want to go to Mexico, which the temperatures in Kentucky where I'm at feel like I live in Mexico now. So I really wanted to get down there.
I feel like that could be a good research trip for Omnia. Like, I feel like that should be a work covered trip.
However we can spin it, I'm game. But yeah, that sounds like a tremendous amount of fun. It sounds like Josh does a phenomenal job with that. It's a trip I definitely want to take soon.
All right, let's talk Omnia. A lot of stuff, a lot of new stuff coming down the pipeline. A lot of updated and fine-tuned things with Omnia Pro available. I was talking with you and you were like, hey, could you mention this on there? And I said, screw it, we'll just get you on for a segment, because like I said, I like to use the people who actually know what the hell they're talking about. You actually were like, hey man, like people like use that code a lot. And I was like, oh, that thing's still active? So I was like, yeah, let's bring it back. Let's get it, because, you know, when you go through it and do it, it actually makes a lot of sense. You actually save a lot of money on it. So I appreciate you getting me up to date on that. So welcome back to BTL.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I really appreciate it again. And like I said, we do have some new stuff, but yeah, like I said, I'd love to just kind of talk through Pro a little bit, you know, for some of the viewers that still, you know, don't really understand Pro, because there's kind of two facets of it. You know, when you were up at the office, you know, you kind of got to, you know, really see so many of the different things that we do. And with the episode of the Omnia Report that you did, was a really great one too. Anybody should definitely go to our YouTube channel and check that out. But you know, with Omnia Pro, you know, we kind of look at it as two different facets. You know, you've got your commerce benefits of being a Pro member, which is, you know, you get 10% back on purchases in the form of credit on your account. And you get free shipping with no minimums too, which is so huge, you know, especially for me this time of year. You know, you go through a lot of plastics and things like that. And it's so convenient to be able to know that, hey, you know, I've got a tournament coming up this weekend. I need, you know, I'm out of, you know, 10-inch red plum worms or whatever it may be, you know, being able just to get 2 or 3 of those on order and get that free shipping. You know, it's super, super advantageous. You know, just kind of breaking out the math. If, you know, the membership itself is $59.99 for the year. And, you know, if you spend, let's say if you just bought $600 worth of tackle, which, you know, a lot of anglers do, just the 10% back alone you would pay for, you know, just the membership alone. But, you know, those are just the benefits kind of on the commerce side. But, you know, what you're showcasing here is, you know, getting into some of the map layers and things that we show. And there's a lot of this stuff that is free and available to anyone to use. But with your Pro membership, you'll get access to the Navionics cartography and a couple of different CMAP map players as well, which I think are really, really cool. You know, being able to see the CMAP social contours that people have actually scanned and reported, and actually comparing them to, you know, what the Navionics cartography shows is really, really insightful. I've been able to find some really, really cool spots there. Looking at that now, you've got the water temperature layer pulled up, you know, and you can see the vast difference between those Great Lakes up there versus, you know, some of these here in the Southwest. But it's,
I'm trying to find a dang storm, Ricky. I can't find a storm in the country. Where's a storm?
There's never one when you need it.
No, I was trying to do the lightning, the radar and lightning.
Yeah.
But, yeah, all sorts of cool stuff on that. I wasn't logged in originally. And then obviously the hot baits and stuff like that. So, you get a $50 gift card with the purchase still?
Yeah. So still using the code BTL Pro.
Capital BTL Pro on omniafishing.com.
Yeah. And if you go to omniafishing.com/pro, that'll be the page that everyone will want to go to redeem that code. If you go through the App Store itself, there's nowhere to enter that code. But if you go to omniafishing.com/pro.
Okay, so you have to do it through the website, not the App Store.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And you can do it from your phone with, you know, Safari or Google Chrome, any browser like that, just not through the App Store or, you know, the Play Store on Android.
Okay. Very cool. Bait wise, tackle wise, technique wise, one of the cool things that I like about Omni is it has all the tech stuff, but then also still has a lot of basically everything you need to fish with too. What do we have on working? There's like weekly deals on here too, aren't there?
Yeah, a couple of things we've got. We've got a deal for frogs right now. If you buy 4, get 1 free on hollow body frogs. It's a really good one to take advantage of, especially this time of year. I'm a big frog fisherman myself. I love to throw frogs. But outside of that too, we've got a deal still currently running too for 20% off Mojo Bass rods from St. Croix as well. It's a great opportunity to take some advantage of those. But yeah, the deals page that we have there on the site, you know, I encourage everyone to continuously check that, because we're updating that weekly, sometimes, you know, 2 or 3 times a week with different deals and offers and things like that. So yeah, this is the deals page is a great resource to excuse me, be able to look and see. And a lot of times we'll some of the deals that we'll be running are what we call double points, or there'll be a 2, maybe 3x credit potential earned. So your standard 10% credit that you earn with Pro, we have opportunities from time to time where you'll be able to earn 20% off products too. So there's a lot of advantages to being a Pro member. But even if you're not a Pro member, just going to some of these deals pages and taking advantage of some of the offers that we have available to everyone. If you scroll down on that same page there too, Matt, there's a link to our bargain bin, which is if you click right down there at that link, and as you can see, we've got some stuff there in our bargain bin on sale as well. But you'll have to be logged into Pro in order to be able to view all those. But we've got a lot of great products and things there. So there's we've always got some deals and things going on like that. But just being a Pro member alone can really save you a lot of money in tackle. Like we were talking about with the 10% credit, too, plus you factor in the free shipping too. That can add up super quickly, especially when you're looking at rods. How much it costs to get rods shipped and things like that. So it's a really great opportunity to save some money and get your tackle as cheap as anywhere else.
Very nice. Anything else?
Yeah, I think like I said, I wanted to touch on that code and let everyone know, and that's going to be active and until we stop it. So take advantage of this code.
Link is in the bio for this on YouTube. The direct link to the Omnia Pro with the BTL code on that, so you can just drop down in the menu and click on that.
Yeah, and for everyone listening too, like I said, my email is just ricky@omniafishing.com. So if anybody has any questions or concerns, anything like that, feel free to reach out to me directly. We'd love to, everybody just give us, an opportunity to, at least try out Pro and check out some of the things we've got on the site. It's there's not very many people that start using Omnia and stop, so it's a testament to everyone in this group, from our merchandising team to, the other people in the marketing team with myself and, our leadership. We've got an awesome assortment and on the, app technology side too. I'm sure they touched on when you were up in Minnesota, but, we have Minnesota DNR survey data in the state of Minnesota now, which is super cool. We actually show the lakes that have the what we call lunker potential, but it's any lake that has the species that you've selected. They've either done a survey with electrofishing or net fishing and caught a fish that would classify as that trophy. And the four really primarily that we have for Minnesota is largemouth, smallmouth, muskie, and walleye, I believe. Yep. But just from you take an area like Minnesota where there's so many lakes, it's so difficult for anglers to decide what lake am I going to go to this weekend, and being able to see that see which lakes actually have potential to have trophy fish and the species you're targeting is super cool. So that's something that we've had a lot of people take advantage of.
I'm showing it right now, which is a lunker potential on that screen. You can click on the screen on any lake there, it'll show details of the lake, and you can click on I can click on that lake there to show the technique, the average depth. You can do the full lake details. It'll load it up like this is Green Lake. It shows Ned's bladed jigs, drop shot grass. You have your Omnia Pro with all of your tools over here. You have your top products. You have 32 total fishing reports that then you can go down for pike to largemouth. You can load more on what they caught them on. Like, it's literally, there's chatterbaits, all sorts of stuff. Like, it's just an awesome resource, especially if you're a guy who wants to get out, try new lakes. You're in a new part of the country. You want to pull up your Omnia Pro and say, hey, these are some lakes that are near me. Here's what I can use, stuff like that. And if you're going to be there for a couple days, then you can take advantage of the shipping and free and get all your stuff there the next day and be on the water. So it's a lot. I mean, from the time that I've started, that I've kind of started working with Omnia and paying attention to now, it's cool to see all these different elements come together to make something cool.
Yeah, absolutely. We're constantly evolving it, and going to continue to add more and more information. So it's really exciting what some of the things we've got coming a little bit later in the year that I can't exactly talk about right now. But I just wanted to reiterate too, like you were just showing those fishing reports and things like that. I encourage everybody that's listening to just go and check out the website. There's a big portion of that stuff that we've shown that is free to everyone. Everyone can look through all these fishing reports and get all this information. And it's the pro membership. Obviously it has its advantages, but I don't want that to discourage anyone from coming out and checking out the site, because there's so much to take advantage of there outside of the pro too.
Yeah. I mean, also, you just want to come to the site, buy stuff, and go fish with it, and that's also
just buy it all.
Smooth function.
You buy it all, and we'll get some more. Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I appreciate you coming on. Try to get you on. Here we go. Right here. So this is cool. I found it. So there's the storm cells and the wind and the rain. So like based on where you are, I mean, it's kind of like radar, but like it shows the lightning and stuff like that. So there's like not much lightning going on right now. But if you go to the Omnia deal that I did on there, like I actually have a deal on my Instagram and stuff that actually shows how the lightning tracker works. So anything else, Ricky?
Yeah, I think that's it for me. Like I said, again, I really appreciate you letting me hop on, and I look forward.
No, it's all good. I appreciate how Omnia and BTL have worked well for a number of years now. So
yeah, it's like peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah. All right, dude. I appreciate it. Have a good one.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt. You too.
All right. See ya. All right. That is Ricky from Omnia. And like I said, if you have any questions on the Omnia Pro, either email him, Omnia, or Matt at bassone.com. We'll get it handled. All right. I want to close out the show. I've had a bit of whirlwind for the last month. One of the things that I am proud about that I finally got in the mail, and they actually sent it out, and then I lost it in the mail, so I got it. So this has been before, but I would just like to read this out loud. Dear Matt, congratulations. Your entry qualifies you for a 2024 In Fisherman Master Angler Award. It's with great pleasure that we award you with this, including the species chevron patch for your catch. If this is your first Master Angler Award of 2024, it will also include the official Master Angler patch program. There it is for my Master Angler crappie, a black or white crappie. Again, congratulations on your angling achievement. We hope to see another award-winning catch from you soon. Sincerely, the In Fisherman Master Angler Awards Committee. And there's my patch, like old school patch too. And there's my crappie decal for it. So my question to you, BTL listeners, is what type of garment should I affix this Master Angler patch? So here's the way I see this going. I see some sort of maybe sweatshirt, like some sort of combination jacket, like the old Ranger boats or Triton jackets that they had, that is bare, and then this gets sewn on it, and then this becomes, like, does the species start to add up? But if any of you guys have a perfect idea of what jacket should be the In Fisherman jacket, and then also where Matt Stefan and I should go next on our quest to catch Master Angler Award species. Josh, Ricky, BTO listeners, greatly appreciate it. We are back live 8:30 a.m. Central Time tomorrow, Thursday, with a brand new show and some news from Frank Scalish. Until then, all the links for the shows today were talked about in the bio. The Pro Bass Adventures, all that info's there. Omnia Pro, all that info. The Andrew Upshaw's Let's Fish TV shows from Chillo, Mexico's down there, as well as the Jude. And if you guys watch that, Jude, and appreciate it as much as I think you will, leave a comment for that. Like, Bart worked his ass off on that for 2 or 3 weeks. Like, you think you send that off like that, this looks like professionally done stuff, and that's Bart sitting in the studio slaving away working on it. And I thought he did a really good job of catching that tournament and what it represents. So I'm gonna stop rambling. Same place, same time tomorrow. See ya.